He was a born magician, as Gerald York, a former disciple of Crowley's, explains.
I have the diaries of his first experiment before he was an expert, and they were extremely good visions, or some people call astral travels. He was naturally good at that sort of thing. In the Golden Dawn, the first thing you learned to do was to get what they called the knowledge and conversation of a holy guardian angel. And it can be anything, either that you imagine, seeing what you want to see, or something which has an independent existence out there. But you can get in touch with something that is real to you.
This business of contacting the holy guardian angel was supplementary to the regular ceremonies of the Golden Dawn, and had been introduced by the order's dominant figure, Samuel Liddell Mathers. Mathers, in the Bibliothèque de l'Arsenal, had found a manuscript called The Book of the Sacred Magic of Abramelin the Mage. It is this work which explains the procedure of attaining the knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel, and this operation Crowley now proposed to undertake. So in 1899 he bought Boleskine House on the shore of Loch Ness, and began the complicated and dangerous process of Abramelin. But he was soon brought back to London by a row brewing in the Golden Dawn, most of whose members had fallen out with Mathers. Crowley sided with Mathers, and after a farcical attempt to retain his hold on the society and its premises, Crowley decided, perhaps to escape from his humiliation, to set off on a trip round the world. He spent some time in Mexico and the South Seas, and then made for Ceylon to see Alan Bennett. Bennett had been making an intensive study of yoga under a noted Hindu guru, and when Crowley arrived, they took a bungalow together, and Bennett supervised him in a series of yogic exercises. These went well enough, but Bennett was turning to Buddhism, and eventually left for Burma to find a purer version. Crowley wandered through southern India to Madura, where he became interested in the sexual philosophy known as Tantrism, and succeeded in penetrating temples normally forbidden to outsiders. Then, after a visit to Burma and Bennett, his thoughts turned to mountains, and he went off to the Himalayas to join a group of mountaineers for an attempt on K2. The party reached a higher point on the mountain than anyone had done before, and established a record for the length of time spent over 20,000 feet. Crowley left for home with the consciousness of something achieved. On his way through Paris, he became friends with the sculptor Rodin, for whom he wrote a set of verses. People liked his poetry. He was accepted by artistic society. Witty, scandalous, and sexually attractive, Crowley had become a celebrity. He had arrived. Back at Boleskine, he was joined by his Cambridge friend, the painter Gerald Kelly, later Sir Gerald and president of the Royal Academy. Now Crowley met Kelly's sister Rose, who had managed to get herself engaged to two men at the same time. To get her out of her predicament, Crowley, all his romantic instincts roused, suggested she should marry him. The marriage would be purely a marriage of convenience, and afterwards she could do as she pleased. To the fury of Rose's family, the pair eloped, and then made the absurd discovery that they had fallen in love. Their honeymoon took them all around the world: Paris, Cairo, Ceylon, and back to Cairo, where Crowley studied Sufism and pretended to be an Arab prince. Then, in the spring of 1904, occurred the event for which Crowley had been hoping for the last 4 years. He attained the knowledge and conversation of his holy guardian angel, and received a direct voice communication.
Heart, the manifestation of Nuit, the unveiling of the company of heaven. Every man and every woman is a star. Every number is infinite, there is no difference. Help me, O warrior lord of Thebes, in my unveiling before the children of men. Be thou, Hadit, my secret centre, my heart and my tongue. Behold, it is revealed by Ivas, the minister of Hor Pakrat. The Chabs is in the Hu, not the Hu in the Chabs. Worship then the Chabs, and behold my light shed over you. Let my servants be few and secret, they shall rule the many and the known. These are fools that men adore, both their gods and their men are fools. Come forth, O children under the stars, and take your fill of love. I am above you and in you, My ecstasy is in yours. My joy is to see your joy. Above, the gemmed azure is the naked splendour of Nuit. She bends in ecstasy to kiss the secret ardours of Hadith. The winged globe, the starry blue, are mine, O Anchaf nach und zu.
On 3 consecutive days, in response to instructions which came through Rose, Crowley received this communication which he called the Book of the Law. Even he began by finding it unintelligible. Crowley was to write 2 separate commentaries, both much longer than the original book, in an attempt to explain it to himself. But it was only later that the Book of the Law assumed importance for him. At the time, his chief concern was that Ivas, the being who had been dictating to him, was his holy guardian angel.
As far as I'm concerned, Ivas was Crowley blown up. That was Crowley in touch with what he would like a guardian angel to be. And that guardian angel had his characteristic.
The Book of the Law, being by Crowley's guardian angel, is obscure, sex-oriented, and sometimes violent. As Gerald York continues, it is
not my cup of tea. It is tantric, and it is based on becoming instead of lying at the feet of. Christians and the devotional Hindus lie at the feet of. The Christians in the Golden Dawn lay at the feet of, whatever it might be. The pagans in the Golden Dawn became. Mallows and Crowley were the pagans. The spiritual trap you can fall in from the lying at the feet of side is the wrong type of humility, and the trap you fall into if you are dealing with the becoming side is pride. In my opinion, Crowley fell into that trap, and as a result is a pseudo-Messiah.
Although Crowley might not be certain just what this revelation meant, he was clear he was now someone of great importance. Then, in 1905, he set off again to the Himalayas to make an attempt on Kanchenjunga, one of the most dangerous mountains in the world. Crowley was supposed to lead the expedition, but he was a disaster. He behaved abominably to porters and colleagues alike. He was off the mountain long before the others, and hastened to publish his one-sided account. His arrogance and apparent lack of feeling over companions who'd been killed drew disastrous publicity. He had taken his first step towards becoming the wickedest man in the world. A period of his life was ending. He had passed his 30th birthday and had experienced failure. So he set off with Rose to redeem his self-respect by a journey across Southeast Asia. It seems to have been on this trip that all his magical, yogic, tantric and Buddhist studies began to form a coherent system. As Gerald York says, his apprenticeship had been thorough.
In his diaries, he recorded year by year the regular exercises of different types as he was doing them, and he had done his groundwork and worked hard at it. When he did his walk from Burma to Vietnam through southwestern China, he was reciting a Greco-Coptic ritual for getting the knowledge and conversation with his guardian angel, which begins with, "Thee I call, the boneless one," full of barbarous words of evocation, such as Aro, Go-Go, Ru-Ebrio, Babylon, Bell, Bin Abaft, and so on.
The use of barbarous words was only one among countless aids to mystical experience, but whichever method was chosen, Crowley wrote, they all came to the same thing in the end.